I always believed that trust was the cornerstone of our marriage. Emily and I had been together for 7 years, building a life in the cozy suburbs of Atlanta. We both had demanding jobs. Emily was a marketing manager, and I worked as a software developer. Yet, we always made time for each other. But recently things had changed. Emily seemed more distant, her laughter less frequent. I noticed her late-night texts and whispered phone calls. My gut twisted with doubt. She's just busy with work, I told myself, trying to ignore the unease growing inside me. Then one evening, my world tilted. Emily casually mentioned she was going to a party. Just a small gathering with some coworkers, she said. She smiled, nodded, and pretended everything was fine. But inside, I felt completely different. That night, sitting alone on the couch, anxiety grew. The clock ticked threateningly, intensifying my worry every minute. By 2 a.m, I decided to find out the truth, put on my jacket, and went to Jake's place. My heart pounded with fear and anger. I parked a few blocks away, feeling like a spy in my own life, and headed to the party. Laughter and music spilled out onto the street. My stomach twisted with nervousness at the front door. I was determined to find out the truth about what awaited me inside. Peeking through the window, I saw Emily laughing and Jake whispering something in her ear. My heart broke. Their warmth was palpable. Blood boiled with anger. I could no longer stay in the shadows. I opened the door and called out, "Emily!" My voice cut through the silence, interrupting the music. The room fell silent as Emily's eyes widened in shock. "Mark, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice trembling with surprise and confusion. Jake stepped forward wearing an arrogant smirk. "Hey man, it's all good. We were just..." He started, but I cut him off, my anger rising sharply. "Just what? Having fun?" I snapped, my voice boiling with fury. Emily's face changed from shock to guilt as she scrambled for words, unable to respond. "I can explain," she stammered, but I refused to listen. The betrayal was too fresh, too painful to accept any excuses from her lips. "You know what? I don't need an explanation. You've already shown me where your loyalty lies," I said, then stormed out, leaving them both stunned. I felt hollow driving home, the reality of Emily's infidelity sinking deep into my heart. I knew I had to do something, anything to regain control. I decided I wouldn't just confront her. I wanted her to truly understand the gravity of her actions and the pain she caused me. The next day, I devised a plan for sweet, poetic justice. I wanted revenge that would make her feel the exact pain she inflicted on me. I wasn't going to simply tell her off. I was going to make sure she understood the consequences of her betrayal in a way she could never forget. I decided to create a situation that would make her face the consequences of her decisions. At first, I pretended that everything was fine and that I was ready to forgive her. For several weeks, I played the role of a devoted husband, surrounding her with attention. I planned dinners and romantic evenings with love and care. I patiently listened as she expressed guilt about that party. "Mark, I didn't mean to hurt you. I just got carried away," she said, with a haze in her eyes. I pretended to understand, nodding my head, while in my mind, I was already planning the next move, remaining the perfect husband in her eyes. At the same time, I contacted Jake under the pretext of wanting to mend our relationship. "Hey, buddy, let's have a drink and talk," I wrote to him. To my surprise, he readily agreed to meet. I knew he would take the bait and not suspect any trickery. At the bar, I stayed calm as if nothing had happened. We talked about work, sports, and life. But inside, I was brewing my own cunning strategy. I couldn't let him think I was weak. "Jake, I know you and Emily," I began, preparing my next line. I casually brought up the topic, saying I understood she was a great woman, but this was more than just a fling. I truly cared about her. Jake laughed confidently. "Of course, man, I respect your relationship. Just having fun, you know," Jake said. "Yeah, well, fun can have consequences," I replied, letting the meaning hang in the air. Jake shrugged it off, but I noticed a flicker of uncertainty cross his face. I leaned back, satisfied I had planted a seed of doubt in his mind. The next phase of my plan involved Emily's friends. I mentioned to a mutual friend that Jake and Emily had been flirting, exaggerating just enough to create suspicion. I knew this gossip would reach Emily, and it did. A few days later, she confronted me, asking if I told Sarah about her flirting with Jake. I pretended to be innocent, denying any direct accusation. "Flirting? No, I only heard rumors and thought it strange how close you two were getting," I said. Emily's face twisted with confusion and anger. I saw realization dawn on her as she said, "I swear it wasn't like that. I tried to fix it. Believe me, but I didn't want her trust. I wanted her to feel the weight of her decisions and actions." The following week, I intensified my revenge. I organized a dinner with several close friends, including Jake. Emily was also invited. I knew the tension would be palpable. All evening I watched with satisfaction as Emily's discomfort grew with every minute. I subtly hinted at Jake's flirting, seeing her cheeks fill with embarrassment and awkwardness. "Emily, it's funny how close you and Jake have become. You were practically inseparable at that party," I teased, keeping an innocent expression on my face. Jake played along, pretending not to understand anything, but he cast sideways glances at Emily that spoke for themselves. Emily fidgeted in place, the tension mounting, and I enjoyed my carefully planned revenge. I watched as her guilt and paranoia filled her mind deeper and deeper. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and exploded. "Mark, enough! This is not funny!" Emily exploded, unable to endure any longer. "I just wanted to show how everything can be misunderstood. It's all about perspective, right?" I smiled, my heart pounding with a mix of satisfaction and guilt. That night, after the guests left, I was left alone with my thoughts, realizing the consequences of my actions. The air was thick with tension. Emily turned to me, her eyes blazing, accusing me of being cruel. I admitted I made a mistake, but argued it wasn't helping anything. Anger spilled over as I shot back, saying she brought this on herself. She wanted to play with fire, and now she was getting burned. We stared silently, the weight of our harsh words hanging heavily in the air. For a moment, I felt a pang of regret. I didn't want to lose her completely, but I needed her to understand the depth of her betrayal. Our relationship was breaking. The weeks that followed mixed guilt with satisfaction. I had made my point, but our relationship's cracks deepened more and more. Emily tried to rebuild trust. She admitted her mistakes and promised to change. but the shadow of my revenge loomed over us. One silent night, as we sat on the couch, Emily finally spoke. She said she knew she messed up and wanted to move forward. Emily said she couldn't shake the feeling of being punished for her mistake. I admitted maybe she was, the weight of my actions pressing down on me. I realized how close I came to losing everything. Her eyes softened, and in that moment, I saw guilt and pain reflected in her gaze. I understood then that revenge did not bring the satisfaction I expected. Instead, it only pushed us further apart and deepened the distance between us. In the end, it became clear that our relationship was at a crossroads. We both had to confront our choices and face the consequences of our actions. Revenge taught us a harsh lesson about trust and betrayal. The experience revealed the complexity of emotions tied to revenge and the damage it can cause. As I share this story on my channel, I want you to think about the moral complexities of revenge. Was my response justified? Did I go too far? The journey of trust and forgiveness is difficult but essential if we want to rebuild what has been broken between us. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more stories that challenge your perceptions, don't forget to subscribe to Loren's Story. Loren's Story offers more dramatic and thought-provoking narratives that invite you to explore deep emotional and moral issues.